This is your unfriendly neighborhood grumpy old man RP. I have with me the all-new Royal Enfield Classic 650 Twin coming out for 2025. This is going to be the third 650 engine and frame combo that Royal Enfield is putting out. Okay, let's get away the stupid grumpy old man facade because I can't really pull that off. Anyway, yeah, as I did say, the Classic 650 is going to be the third bike that Royal Enfield put out with the exact same engine, the exact same frame, but with a bit of a different styling and package with regards to the suspension and some of the ergonomic controls as compared to the Shotgun and the Super Meteor 650 that came out in 2023 and 2024 respectively, or the other way around, I can't remember. Anyway, this thing is supposed to be a homage to the old World War II era motorcycles on the same wavelength as what they did with the Classic 350, that whole British BSA wartime motorcycles that they used to fight in the European, the wars in the European continent back in the 1930s and 1940s. It is so classic. I think even my grandfather is trying to rise up from the grave and take it out for a spin.
The Classic 650 comes with the same 648cc air and oil-cooled parallel twin engine that was found in the Super Meteor 650 and the Shotgun 650 from the prior years. And it still puts out the same 46 horsepower at 7,250 RPM and 52 Nm of torque at 5,650 RPM. You'll feel no difference if coming from a Shotgun or Super Meteor as far as straight line performance is concerned with the Classic 650's engine. It still has that decent ability to haul and maintain a reasonable highway speed with a relatively mellow power delivery at the low end. The biggest difference will mostly come with how it handles compared to the Shotgun, as it now weighs 3 kg more than its sportier predecessor at 243 kg wet. Most of that extra weight is carried up front and high with more paneling work around the triple, slightly larger tank and wheel sizes. I thought I was imagining it at first considering the use of the exact same frame. But the Classic 650 does trade off a tiny bit of agility for straight line stability with the 19-inch front and 18-inch rear spoked rims, and a set of standard configuration Showa forks that puts more unsprung weight on the front end. Steering does feel a tiny bit heavier than the Shotgun, but this is more a testament to the Shotgun's agility, as I feel the Classic 650 does not really fare better or worse than its other steel frame cruiser brethren in this regard. The brakes on the Classic 650 feels the same as they do on the Shotgun. They come with ABS and have that extra sensitive rear brake that bites hard if you so much as tap on it lightly. The suspension also has the same issues as the Shotgun. Rear is preload adjustable, but the fact is, unless riding on pristine flat roads, there is only one usable setting, and that is all the way down with how hard it is.
Ow, my balls! Head out!
Royal Enfield has decided to do away with the upside down forks they put in the Shotgun and Super Meteor in favor of a regular set on the Classic 650. While this does translate to a slightly buzzier front end, it does mean the Classic is easier to maintain, less likely to leak oil from the forks, and most importantly, cost less. The Classic 650 comes with a 14.8 litre tank this time, slotting it perfectly in the middle between the Shotgun and Super Meteor. Despite the weight difference compared to the Shotgun, this is mostly negligible to the effect on fuel consumption, and you will more than likely be seeing roughly around 23 km per litre if weighing in at a rider weight of around 80 kg, which means on a full tank you can expect to get a range of about 340 km before riding it to the last drop. As with most of Royal Enfield's products, the feature section is purposefully kept sparse to keep in line with its retro classic heritage and to ensure costs aren't bloated like the flagships of luxury motorcycle brands these days. You get a traditional analog speedometer that is placed squarely front and center above the headlight assembly that is easy and clear to read without moving your head much. Right underneath that is a smaller LCD screen with the rest of your info, including the fuel gauge, gear indicator, odometer, and the simple eco light to indicate you being in the optimal RPM range for fuel consumption. The tripper pod that featured on the Shotgun 650 also makes a return with the Classic 650. When unpaired with the Royal Enfield app, it serves as a digital clock that is pretty accurate with very little drift compared to most digital clusters. And when paired with the app, serves to provide turn-by-turn navigation readouts. Again, the app and tripper pod aren't my favorite pieces of software and hardware, considering it sucks the life out of your phone battery, requiring an always-on screen and connection, as well as being placed and angled in a manner that is hard to read under direct sunlight, while simultaneously being really small respectively. Anyway, I don't usually talk about headlights because they don't matter much to most riders, at least the stock assemblies. But the Classic 650 has been upgraded to include a set of LED lights this time that is surprisingly bright and lights up dark spaces very well in a wide angle. My biggest complaint on the Shotgun was the distance between the seat and the handlebars, and I feel Royal Enfield has dialed the extremities of the ergonomics back with the Classic 650. The Classic still has the same frame and seat, but they have replaced the handlebars with ones that now sweep back more, allowing my 177cm tall frame with 85cm inseam to have a more straight up and laid back posture without necessarily locking my elbows anymore. I still get to enjoy that very same wide open space for my legs and lower body, as well as comfortably large foot pegs for my feet to find purchase on. However, it also brought over the same criticism I had for the placement of the side and main stands as I did on the Shotgun, in that they are stacked far too close to the foot pegs and exhaust to make it easy to dig the lever out with your feet. Royal Enfield also unfortunately did not choose to pull the choice of rider seats from the Super Meteor, instead opting to use the one also found on the Shotgun. While I find it perfectly reasonable for aesthetic reasons, it still is just as hard as ever, despite the seat's wide surface. This time, I got to test ride the Classic 650 with the stock mirrors on. The mirrors themselves are small, nice to look at, but not much surface area to capture the widest view behind you. The mirror stocks are, however, satisfyingly long and stick out far enough to clear my shoulders and elbows though, so that is a plus. The Classic 650 is very obviously aiming to recreate the look of 30s and 40s wartime BSA motorcycles just as they did with the Classic 350 prior to this. There is really not much one can say about this, as the style has been around for many years now, and the mantle has been passed around between various manufacturers from Harley, Indian, Triumph and Royal Enfield themselves. You either like it or don't like it. But whatever the case, in recent years there has been a huge dearth in financially accessible vintage looking motorcycles as Harley Davidson and Triumph move away from their heritage designs and ever forward on more modern looks across their product range. I can see it definitely being a point of nostalgia for many children of the 50s and 60s in Europe, North America, and even India, where they would have been a common thing to be around when their fathers rode them. Otherwise, it would really be more of a thing for people with a huge interest in history like myself. As usual with the shotgun and Super Meteor before it, the classic 650 having the same frame, made in the same plant, suffers from the same issue of serviceable but ugly welding, particularly on the headstock, which is a damn shame, because otherwise the tank, fenders and exhaust are all solidly built. The colors are all beautifully vintage, even on the rather colorless fully chrome version I had loaned to me. The engine and all the associated componentry have also been beautifully chromed in juxtaposition to its blacked out frame. The headlight assembly and top end of the forks have been given a sleek, unifying chunky panel cover to smooth out the lines with curves and give it that nice 50s sensibility of luxury to detract from the otherwise functionally ruggedness of the actual motorcycle itself. To be honest, the classic 650 shares much with the shotgun and Super Meteor. They each do have their differences, but it tends to be minute. If you're someone who already has their heart set on one of the three, but without a clear idea of what you would really want in the end, it is mostly up to looks. Or you could just roll the dice and see where it lands. But it is unsurprising otherwise when I say the classic 650 is mostly for the nostalgic or the history buff. How it looks and how it feels is its selling point. There are more cruisers out there in the market that are much more feature rich or higher in performance, have better ergonomics, or any combination of the three. However, in this day and age, with the economic uncertainty and job insecurities, having a simple machine to work on and maintain as the classic 650 that is also priced at a really low machine price of 15,700 Singaporean dollars is not a bad point to consider. I would dare say the shotgun handles better and the Super Meteor is just the most comfortable of the three. However, of the three Royal Enfield 650 cruiser platforms, the classic 650 is the cheapest and probably the way to go if looking for an entry-level model in the lineup if financial prudence is a concern.
That is all I have to say about the classic 650 from Royal Enfield. If you have any interesting comments to add about Royal Enfield's recent lineup with their bikes, do let me know in the comments below. I want to know your thoughts about the way Royal Enfield is moving onwards with the way they are designing new bikes and the kind of product offerings they have been putting out in market recently. Do you like it, or do you wish they innovated a bit more? Because I do know Royal Enfield is really leaning heavily on that heritage aspect of the brand, which some people might like, some people might not like, because they do prefer a bit more innovation, in terms of not just aesthetics but as well as technology. Do leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, do remember to give me a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, all that YouTube jazz. Do support me on my channel by buying a bucket cap or a hoodie, t-shirt, and I will see you next time. This has been RP. Peace out. Bye bye.